The last cry on Alara. The sky over Alara 9 was not blue anymore. It was dark, filled with smoke and the fire of war. Once, this planet was green and peaceful. Now, it was broken. In the middle of the ruins, a small figure moved through the ash and dust. Her name was Ciara. She was not human. Her skin was silver, her eyes large and glowing. She was holding something close to her chest, her baby. The child was silent, tired from crying. Ciara's body was weak, her clothes were torn, her left leg was bleeding, but she kept walking. She had to find help, not for herself, but for her child. Her husband, Tavor, died 3 days ago. He was a soldier, and he died trying to protect their home. Ciara had seen him fall. She did not have time to cry. There was no time for pain, only survival. She reached an old outpost, a communication center, half destroyed by bombs. She looked around. No one. Just silence and wind. She stepped inside and placed the baby on a soft cloth. The child slept, too tired to make a sound. Ciara began working. Her hands were shaking, but her mind was strong. She used the last power cell to turn on the console. Lights blinked. The screen came to life. She sent a signal, a simple message. This is Ciara of Alara 9. I have a child. No food, no medicine, all gone. Please help. Please. Anyone. She sent it across all frequencies. Then she waited. Hours passed. Nothing. She looked at her baby. The child was breathing, but too quiet. This was not good. Ciara sat on the floor and closed her eyes. She was tired. She was scared. And she was alone. Or so she thought. Far away, in a human space station called Nova 7, someone heard the message. His name was Ryan Kane. He was a former human soldier. He had left the army years ago after a failed mission. He now worked alone, fixing old ships and drinking too much. He was not a hero anymore. Maybe he never was. But something in Ciara's voice, it cut through. The noise. It was not just words. It was a mother's cry. It felt real. He played the message again. And again. Then he stood up. He walked to his ship, an old human fighter, dusty but strong. He entered the coordinates. Alara 9, he said, to himself, you're a dead place. But he didn't stop. He pressed launch. Back on Alara 9, Ciara heard a sound in the distance, a deep low rumble in the sky. She ran outside, holding her baby tight. Her eyes searched the sky. There, a ship. Not from her planet. Not from the enemy. It was a human ship. Her heart beat faster. The ship landed slowly near the outpost. The dust rose around it. The door opened. A man stepped out. Tall, rough face, brown jacket, scar on his neck. He looked around, his hand near his weapon. Ciara took a step back. I got your signal, the man said. His voice was calm but not soft. Ciara said nothing. Name's Ryan, he said. She still said nothing. He looked at the baby. Then at her leg. You need help, he said. I didn't come here to shoot you. She looked into his eyes. There was no hate in them, no greed, just tiredness. Why are you here, she asked, her voice quiet. Because no one else answered, Ryan said, and you sounded like someone who doesn't have time left. Ciara blinked. No one had helped her before, not even her own kind. She nodded slowly. My child is sick, she whispered. Ryan walked closer. He moved slow, not to scare her. He opened a small case, and inside were water packs and a medical kit. We'll get you out, he said. Ciara didn't know if she could trust him, but she had no other choice. She took the water, gave some to her baby. The child drank weakly. Thank you, she said. Ryan looked around. This place isn't safe. I saw movement an hour out, probably scavengers or worse. He looked at her leg. You can't walk far. We'll have to go now. Can your ship fly? She asked. Rian smiled, just a little. Barely, but it flies. They started moving to the ship. Ciara limped. Ryan helped her. She didn't like it, but she needed it. As they reached the door, Rian stopped. He looked back at the sky. Something felt wrong. He pressed a button on his wrist. A red light flashed. "What is it?" Ciara asked. He didn't answer right away. "Your message," Ryan said slowly. It was picked up by someone else, too. "Who?" she asked, afraid. He looked at her. Not friends. The human stranger. The ship shook slightly as it lifted off from Ilara 9. Inside, the air smelled of metal and old fuel. The walls were scratched, the lights flickering. This ship had seen too many fights, and too many losses. Ciara sat near the eye and back, her baby wrapped in cloth and resting in her arms. The child had stopped crying, but that worried her even more. Silent babies were not always safe. She looked around the ship. It was small. Only 2 seats up front. 1 bed. A small med kit. Food packs half empty. This man, this human, lived alone. Ryan sat in the pilot's seat, one hand on the controls, the other near a strange flat weapon. He hadn't spoken much since takeoff. Ciara watched him from the shadows. Who was this man, really? Why had he answered when no one else did? After a long silence, she spoke. "You're not military." He didn't look at her. "Was." "What happened?" He let out a short breath, not a sigh, not a laugh. "Something in between. They told me not to help people like you." She frowned. "Aliens?" He nodded. "Innocents." Ciara didn't understand. "And you did?" He turned to her now, his eyes sharp but not cruel. "A ship full of refugees. Under attack. My commander told me to hold back. Not our war," he said. "I went in anyway." "Did you save them?" "Some." "What did they do to you?" He turned back to the screen. "Took my rank. Called me unstable. I left." Ciara looked down at her baby. "Then why help me now?" He answered without pause. "Because I didn't come this far to become like them." She didn't speak after that. She didn't need to. For a moment, silence said more than words, but peace never lasted long. A red light blinked on Ryan's console, then another, and another. "Damn it," he muttered. "We've got company." He pulled up the screen. 3 ships, fast, small, armed. "Pirates?" Ciara asked. Ryan shook his head. "No. Worse. Bounty hunters." "For you?" He gave her a sharp look. "For us." Ciara's heart dropped. Far above, in deep orbit, a dark vessel hovered like a ghost. Inside, a voice hissed through static. "Target locked, human ship identified, the Grit. Bounty code confirmed. Reward double for live capture." A tall creature stood before a screen. Long arms, black armor, red eyes. This was Varn, a collector. Not for money, for pleasure. He had hunted humans before, but this time he had a bonus. A rare alien female and a hybrid child. He smiled, showing metal teeth. "Prepare to intercept," he growled. Back on Ryan's ship, alarms blared. He pulled the ship into a dive. The stars outside twisted. A shot passed too close. The ship shook again. "Hold on," Ryan shouted. Ciara held her child close and braced herself. Her people were not made for this kind of flight. "Can't outrun them," Ryan said. "We'll have to hide." "Where?" "Asteroid field. 10 clicks ahead. It's messy, but it'll buy us time." The ship roared forward. Behind them, 3 black dots followed, glowing red. They entered the field. Massive rocks spun slowly in the void. One hit could destroy them. "Keep your head down," Ryan shouted. The ship twisted left, then right. He flew like a man with nothing to lose. One of the hunters hit a rock, exploded into fire and dust. "One down," Ryan muttered. But the others were smarter. They stayed close. A blast hit the back wing. The ship groaned. Smoke filled the cabin. "Ryan," Ciara screamed. "We're losing pressure." "I know. I'm patching it. Ciara looked around, panic rising. She saw something. A black case near the floor. It had a red cross on it. She opened it. Inside, oxygen masks, emergency wraps, and a small metal key. She picked up the key. It had strange markings. "What is this?" she asked. Ryan looked at it and froze. "Where did you get that?" he asked, voice cold. "It was just here." "Don't touch it." Ciara stared at him. "What is it?" He paused. "That's a vault key," he said. "Not for money, for something worse." The ship shook again. A shot grazed the hull. Sparks flew. "Get in the back," he ordered, "and strap in." She hesitated, then obeyed. Ryan reached for a switch. "If we make this jump, you're gonna see something strange." "Stranger than you?" She tried to joke, her voice shaking. "Much stranger," he said. He hit the switch. The stars bent. The ship roared. They disappeared into the dark. In the silence that followed, only a small light remained on Ryan's screen. A tracker. The bounty hunters knew where they were going, and someone else had activated the second beacon. Not just Varn, someone watching from Earth. Hunted, the stars were gone. Nothing but a dark, endless tunnel surrounded the ship now. Lights flickered. The engine buzzed with strange energy. This was uncharted space, the kind of place only desperate people entered. Ciara held her baby tightly. Her arms ached, but she didn't loosen her grip. The child stirred and whimpered. She gently hummed a lullaby from her home world, though her voice was weak and dry. Ryan was silent, focused on the controls. Sweat slid down his temple. This jump was risky. Old engines weren't made for wormholes like this one. Ciara finally spoke. "Are they still following?" He shook his head. "Not now. They don't know where this tunnel leads." "And you do?" He didn't answer. That was enough of an answer. They came out of the tunnel into a cold, gray space, a region called the Grave Drift. Broken ships floated in silence. Some were human, others were alien. No survivors, no signals, just wreckage. Ciara looked out the window and felt a deep chill. "What happened here?" "A forgotten war," Ryan said softly. "No winners." He guided the ship through the wrecks. Every twist of metal was a memory of death. "We'll hide here for now," he added. "Give the ship time to cool. Let the hunters lose our trail." Ciara sat beside him, still holding her child. "You've done this before." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Too many times." Later, inside the quiet ship, Ryan removed his jacket. A deep scar ran across his side. Burned skin, old wound. He winced as he checked the damage to the ship's engine. Ciara noticed but said nothing. Instead, she opened a small pouch and took out a healing paste made from Alara roots. "This helps pain," she said, holding it out. He looked at it. Then, at her. "I'm fine. You're not." He hesitated, then nodded once and took it. He applied it without a word. "Thank you," he said. It was the first time he said those words to her. But peace didn't last. An alarm blinked. Ryan jumped to the screen. "They found us." "How?" "There's a tracker, somewhere on board." He grabbed a scanner, moving quickly through the ship. Ciara followed, frightened. They searched every crate, every compartment. Finally, Ryan ripped open one of the back panels. Inside, behind the power coils, was a tiny black chip, glowing red. "That wasn't there before," he said. Ciara stared at it. "Then someone planted it." Ryan crushed the chip beneath his boot. "We need to leave. Now." But it was already too late. From the window they saw a shadow rising, a ship, not one of the bounty hunters from before. This was larger, older, covered in bone-like armor. Ryan's face went pale. Varn. Ciara had never heard that name before. But the way Ryan said it, it was as if death had a voice. "Who is he?" "A collector. He doesn't want money. He wants trophies." "Then he's here for you?" Ryan looked at her. "No. He's here for you. And the child." Inside Varn's ship, the red-eyed hunter smiled. He spoke to his crew, twisted beings with cybernetic arms and blank faces. Prepare. The net. The hybrid is worth more than a fleet. Back in Rion's ship, systems started to fail. He's jamming us, Rion said. We can't run. Ciara held her baby tighter. Then we fight, she said. Rion looked at her. We don't. Win fights with Varn. We survive. He paused. Then opened a hidden drawer beneath the floor. Inside was an old chip, cracked but still glowing. What is that? Ciara asked. A virus, he said. Made in the human wars, unstable, illegal. What does it do? It burns everything electronic, even us, if we're not careful. Ciara didn't blink. Use it. Ryan hesitated. If we use it, the ship might not survive the shutdown and we'll be stuck, floating. Ciara stepped forward. We'll be alive. He looked at her. She wasn't the same frightened mother anymore. Her voice was steady, her eyes strong. He nodded. Strap in, and hold that baby tight. The virus was uploaded. Sparks flew. The ship screamed. Outside Varn's vessel charged a harpoon cannon, ready to pierce the small human craft. But before it could fire, Ryan's ship let out a pulse. A shockwave spread in all directions. Everything stopped. Varn's ship froze. Lights went dark. Engines failed. For a few seconds, space was dead. Inside the grit, emergency lights turned on. The ship was badly damaged. Power was low, but they were alive. Ryan lay on the floor coughing. Ciara rushed to him. You okay? He laughed weakly. I hate that virus, Ciara smiled. Even in danger, he joked. We need to land somewhere, she said. Yeah, he muttered, but we're not alone out here. He pointed to the screen. A green blip blinked, small, far away. What is that? A planet, he said. Unmarked, unclaimed, might be habitable. And if it's not? He looked at her and grinned. Then, we land hard. As the ship drifted toward the unknown world, Ciara looked at her baby, now sleeping. She whispered softly, Hold on, little star. We're not done yet. Outside, in the darkness, another signal blinked. Not from Varn's ship. It came from deeper space. A message sent in human code. Target found, hybrid confirmed, awaiting orders. Someone from Earth was watching, and they were coming next. Broken wings. The ship crashed hard. Dust rose into the air as metal tore through rock and sand. Trees snapped. Flames burst. Then silence. Smoke hissed from broken panels. Sparks fell like fireflies inside the ruined ship. A wing was torn off. One engine was gone. The grit was no longer a ship. It was a grave, waiting to happen. But it didn't end there. From the wreckage, a door opened with a painful creak. A figure stumbled out, holding a wrapped bundle close to her chest. It was Ciara. Her lip was bleeding, her leg burned. But she was standing. In her arms, her baby moved weakly, then let out a small cry. Alive. She looked back at the wreck. Ryan, she shouted. No answer. She ran inside, limping, coughing through smoke. She found him near the cockpit, barely conscious, blood dripping from his head. You idiot, she whispered, pulling him up. Yeah, he muttered. You're welcome. They set up camp near the crash site. A stream of water ran nearby, and trees with blue leaves swayed gently. The planet looked calm, peaceful even. But peace could be a lie. Rion lay on a blanket, wounded and half awake. Ciara cleaned his cuts, wrapped his ribs with cloth made from old ship fabric. You should have let me fly, she said, half joking. You didn't even know what a stabilizer was 2 days ago. I learn fast, he smiled faintly. You saved us, she added. He didn't answer. As days passed, Ciara explored the area. She found edible roots, clean water, and even a strange fruit that glowed faintly in the dark. Her knowledge of alien plants helped them survive. But she found more than plants. While collecting water, she noticed strange marks on a stone wall. Symbols, warnings, a spiral with a slash through it. She didn't understand it, but something inside her said, "This place is not safe." She returned quickly. That night, under stars neither of them recognized, she told Ryan what she found. "I think someone was here before." Ryan, still weak, raised an eyebrow. "Who?" She shook her head. "Don't know, but they left signs. Maybe locals." "Then where are they?" Ryan didn't answer. On the third night, something came. It started with a sound, not loud, but wrong, a soft click, click, click in the trees. Ryan sat up, eyes sharp. Ciara froze, then silence. Ryan grabbed his gun, the one that never left his side. "Stay behind me," he whispered. They crept toward the edge of the camp. Nothing. Then, from the shadows, two glowing eyes. A shape. Tall, thin, not human, not alien like Ciara either. It stepped forward slowly, metal plates on its arms, wires in its chest. It was a scavenger construct, a hybrid of machine and flesh. Abandoned long ago, now running on instinct. "Get back," Ryan said. But the construct didn't attack. It just watched. Its head tilted. Then, in a broken, glitching voice, it spoke. "The child. The signal. The seed." Ciara's heart stopped. What did it say? Before Ryan could answer, the construct's chest opened, revealing a pulsing blue core. Ryan fired. The core exploded in blue light. The shock knocked them both back. When they stood up, the construct was gone. Nothing but pieces. But something inside the core kept blinking. A tracker, not just a normal one, a genetic scanner tuned to her child's DNA. Ryan stared at it, cold realization hitting him. They weren't here for me. Ciara picked up her baby, now crying. They found us again, through him. Back at the crash site, Ciara took charge. "How long to fix the ship?" Ryan laughed bitterly. "With what? A broken wing and no fuel?" She looked at him, calm and serious. "Then we rebuild." He raised an eyebrow. "Are you serious?" "I was a tech engineer before the war," she said. "I worked on ships, drones, satellites. I can build again." He didn't argue. He just said, "I'll try not to die before then." She smiled slightly. That would help. The next days were different. She worked during the day, pulling cables, melting broken parts, reprogramming what still worked. Ryan, still weak, helped where he could, giving advice, teaching her old human codes. They became a team, but danger grew. The planet was watching. At night, more constructs moved in, the trees. One left a symbol near the camp, a spiral, and the slash was now bleeding red. On the sixth day, Ciara opened a hidden panel deep in the ship's storage. Inside was something she hadn't seen before. A locked container with her husband's name on it. Taver. She hesitated, then opened it. Inside, a sealed letter, written in her own language. She read it slowly. Then she gasped. The truth made her knees shake. The baby, her baby, wasn't just her child. He was part of something bigger, something hidden, something her husband had never told her. A genetic map was inside the baby's DNA. A key to ancient tech left behind by a lost alien race. Her child was the last seed of that knowledge, and now everyone wanted him. She ran to Ryan. "We can't stay," she said. He saw the look in her eyes. He didn't ask questions. "Then we finish the ship," he said. "But even if we fly, where do we go?" Ryan stood slowly. "Home." She looked confused. "Earth?" He nodded. "I know a place, off the books, old allies. They won't ask questions. And if they do?" He looked at her. "Then they'll have to deal with me." High above the planet, unseen, a drone floated, watching, recording. It sent one word to a hidden base on the dark side of Earth. "Prepare extraction. The hybrid has awakened." A mother's fight. The planet never slept. Even when the skies were dark and the winds were still, something moved in the trees. Shadows that clicked, whispered, and watched. Ryan lay inside the broken ship, unconscious again. His wounds had reopened from working too soon. He had pushed himself too far. Ciara sat beside him, holding a piece of cloth to his side. His breathing was rough, uneven, his skin pale. Her child slept nearby, wrapped tightly against the cold. She looked at them both, the only two souls she had left in this entire universe. And she made a decision. She would not wait for death to come. She would go to war. Before sunrise, she prepared. She wrapped her body in scavenged armor from the construct they destroyed. It didn't fit perfectly, but it would do. She attached a pulse blade from the ship's emergency kit to her arm. She didn't know how to use it like a soldier, but she didn't care. This wasn't about skill. This was about a mother's will. She left a note beside Ryan. "Don't come after me. I'll bring the storm to them first." And then she was gone. Ciara tracked the signals in the forest, the spiral marks, the clicks at night, the blinking tracker she had reverse-engineered from the construct core. She followed it all the way to a cave in the cliffs beyond the river. Inside she found the truth. Not just machines, not just hunters. A lab, a human-made outpost, hidden deep underground. Built years ago and long forgotten by official maps, or maybe never meant to be found at all. She moved silently through tunnels, avoiding motion sensors and drones, until she reached a main control room. Her alien tech skills came alive again. Her fingers moved quickly over the stolen console, and what she found shook her. Her child's DNA had been registered. Twice. Once from her distress signal, and once before he was even born. She stared at the files. Her husband's ID was logged as a contributor to an experimental program, one that studied hybrid offspring potential between humans and other species. This wasn't just about saving her baby. This was about owning him. Her child wasn't just being hunted, he was being claimed. Alarms suddenly blared. She had triggered a hidden failsafe. Lights turned red. A robotic voice echoed through the cave. "Unauthorized breach detected. Subject mother identified. Level 3 alert. Prepare containment." Footsteps. Heavy. Fast. She grabbed a nearby explosive. Charge, meant for mining, and set the timer. Then she ran, through the tunnels, past flickering lights, her heart racing, but her mind clear. She reached a narrow bridge over a deep pit. She turned. 3 armored soldiers appeared at the far end. Not robots. Humans. One stepped forward. "Don't do this. The child belongs with us." Ciara raised her weapon. "He belongs to no one." Another spoke. "You're outnumbered, untrained. You won't win." She smiled softly. "I don't need to win." The cave shook. The bomb exploded behind them, collapsing the ceiling. Rocks crashed down, crushing 2 of the soldiers instantly. The bridge cracked. Ciara ran as it crumbled behind her. She barely made it out. Smoke followed her into the trees. Fire lit the sky. She had burned their hideout to the ground. Hours later, just before dawn, she stumbled back to the wrecked ship. Her arms were scraped, her body shaking. But she was alive. Ryan was awake now. Weak, but alive too. He was trying to stand when he saw her. He rushed to help, wincing. "You're insane," he said. "What did you do?" "I started a war," she replied. He smiled faintly. "About time." Then he saw something in her eyes. Pain. "What did they do to you?" Ciara didn't answer. Instead, she opened her hand, showing him a small drive. "This has everything. All the files. They've been tracking hybrids like my son for years. Testing, hiding, preparing." Ryan's face hardened. "Then they won't stop. Even if we run." She nodded. "Then we stop running," she said. That night, under broken stars, they made a plan. Ciara had repaired half the ship, enough to lift off. Not enough for long flight. But Ryan knew of an old ally, a man who owed him a life debt. a place they could go, a way to fight back. "I'll take you there," he said. "But after that, we don't hide." "No," Ciara said. "We fight. We expose them. And if we die," she looked at her child, asleep again, "then we die as truth-tellers, not prisoners." Ryan stared at her. She wasn't just a mother now, she was a force of nature. He gave her a slow nod. "Then let's finish this." Far above the ruined world, another signal went out, relayed from a surviving drone high in orbit. This time it wasn't to bounty hunters, it was to Earth Defense Command. A cold voice read the file aloud. "Hybrid subject 017 escaped containment. Maternal figure eliminated asset site. Potential breach of protocol read. Activate Project Leviathan." A new figure stepped into the room, Human.General's uniform. His eyes were cold steel. "Bring me the child." Through fire and stars, the night before launch was too quiet. Ciara stood outside the half-repaired ship looking up at the sky. The stars above this planet didn't blink like those on Alara 9. These ones felt colder, farther away, like they were watching and waiting. Behind her, Ryan worked with quiet focus. His arm still hurt. His ribs were cracked. But he moved like a soldier again. Not fast, just sure. The child slept, finally at peace. But peace was a lie. They had one chance, one shot at escape, and they both knew they weren't just running anymore. They were being hunted like prey. Ryan checked the final systems. Reactors, barely holding. Shields are fried. Nav's glitchy, but she'll fly and just not far. "How far?" Ciara asked. "Just enough to reach a moon base. Not on any charts. Off the record. Your contact?" "If he's still alive." Ciara touched the console, remembering her old work in Alara's tech labs. "We can't stay here," she whispered. "No," Ryan said. "Because someone just arrived." He pointed to the screen. 2 ships. Not bounty hunters. Not scavenger. Bots. Human military class. Black stealth paint. No ID codes. "They tracked the flare from your attack," he said. "They're not here to talk." Above the planet, the 2 ships hovered like vultures. Inside the lead ship, General Cray stood, in silence, watching the screen. His face was stone, his voice colder. "Target identified. Hybrid confirmed alive. Secondary asset, mother, still functional. Authorized Leviathan protocol." A soldier nearby hesitated. "Sir, Project Leviathan is still—" "Do it," Cray ordered. "This isn't a rescue, it's a retrieval." Back on the planet, the wind changed. The ground trembled. Trees bent. From the atmosphere, something massive began to fall. Ciara looked up. Her heart dropped. "What is that?" Ryan's face turned pale. Not what, who. Out of the sky came a monster of metal and AI. Shaped like a beast but built like a war machine. Project Leviathan. 10 meters tall. 4 legs. A shifting face of sensors and weapons. A living tank designed to hunt genetically unique life forms. Weapon Earth said never existed. Now it was real, and it was walking straight toward them. Ryan ran to the controls. "Get inside, we launch now." Ciara didn't argue. She grabbed her baby, who had woken up crying, and rushed into the ship. Leviathan's scanners activated, red beams searching, slicing through trees. Genetic. Anomaly detected. Hybrid class. Priority 1. It moved faster than anything its size should move. Each step cracked the earth. Ciara sat in the co-pilot's chair, holding her child. "Engines online." "Then we fly," Ryan said. The ship rose, shaking from the stress. The damaged systems groaned. Sparks flew from a side panel. A warning blinked. "Structural failure in 45 seconds. "Not good," Ryan muttered. Leviathan crouched, launching a hook missile. It struck the side of the ship, pulling it down. The ship tilted, hit the ground hard, one engine failing. Ryan slammed his fist against the controls. "No, no, no." "We're not done yet," Ciara said. She leapt up, ran to the back. opened the side hatch. She stared at the weapon crate, a last resort explosive. It had one use, and it needed to be placed manually. "What are you doing?" Ryan shouted. "I'll distract it," she said. "You'll die." "So will he." She looked at her baby. "Unless one of us does something." "No," Ryan said, stepping forward. "I'll go." Ciara shook her head. "You don't even have time to argue." She kissed her child's forehead, then placed him in Ryan's arms. "Tell him why I did it," she said softly. And then she jumped out of the hatch. Leviathan turned to face her. She ran toward it, fast, fearless, her pulse blade in one hand, the charge in the other. It fired. She dodged barely. A blast caught her leg. She fell, screamed, but crawled forward. Every part of her screamed in pain, but she moved like a storm. She planted the charge directly on Leviathan's leg. It turned, sensors confused. "Warning, foreign code detected." She pressed the trigger. "For my son," she whispered. The explosion lit up the night. Inside the ship, Ryan watched in horror as the machine exploded. Fire climbing into the sky, and then silence. Smoke, ash, and no movement. He held the baby close. "You'll know her name," he said. "I promise you. The stars will know it too." A few minutes later, as dawn broke, the ship rose again, barely holding together. The broken engine whined, but it rose. Rion flew toward the stars, toward the moon base. Behind him, fire still burned, and somewhere deep beneath the wreckage, Ciara's pulse still flickered. She wasn't dead. Not yet. In orbit, General Cray watched the wreckage. He clenched his jaw. "Deploy ground recovery team. Kill the male. Retrieve the child. And if the mother's alive..." He paused. "Bring her to me. She's worth more than we thought." Home, human, hope. The moon base came into view like a ghost rising from the shadows of space. It floated above a dead world, hidden, forgotten, tucked deep within a crater ringed by frozen mountains. No signals. No calls, no name, just a single light blinking above the docking port. Ryan's ship limped through the final descent, smoke still leaking from a cracked vent. Inside, the cabin lights flickered as warning signs lit up every panel. "You're going to hold together a little longer," he muttered to the ship. "Just a little." Beside him, the hybrid child lay wrapped in cloth, quiet, eyes wide open, watching the stars. Behind them, the woman who had saved them all was missing, but not dead. Not yet. Ryan docked. He stepped out slowly, holding the child close. The air on the moon base was cold and sterile. The walls were smooth, gray, and silent, until a door opened. A tall man in a long coat stood waiting. White beard. Cybernetic arm. Eyes that had seen too many battles. Commander Harlan Quinn, an old war dog. Once human army, now off-grid. A man who owed Ryan his life. "I thought you were dead," Quinn said. "I was," Ryan replied, "until she saved me." He stepped forward, handing the child over for scanning. Quinn raised an eyebrow. "You brought me a baby?" "No," Ryan said. "I brought you the future. And a war." Quinn scanned the child's DNA. The results appeared. Confirmed hybrid. Class 0 seed carrier. Quinn stared at the screen for a long time, then looked at Ryan. "You weren't joking." "Do I ever?" "Sometimes." They both smirked. But the moment broke quickly. An alarm pinged. Quinn looked at his screen. "You were followed." Ryan nodded. "Earth Command. They sent Leviathan." Quinn's face turned hard. "Project Leviathan was shut down years ago. They brought it back." Quinn turned to his crew. "Shut down all exterior beacons, no signals in or out," Ryan added. "And she's still down there." Quinn narrowed his eyes. "The mother?" "Yeah." "And you left her?" Ryan's jaw clenched. "She made me." "And you listened?" "This once. Down on the planet, the fires had died." Ash floated through the air like snow. The wreckage of Leviathan lay broken, wires twitching in silence. Underneath it all, Ciara stirred. Her body was broken, ribs crushed, leg shattered, lungs burned. But her heart still beat. She clawed out from under the rubble, dragging herself toward the tree line. Every inch forward was pain, every breath a war. But she was a mother. Mothers don't stop. Back on the moon base, Quinn moved fast. If Earth Command finds us, we're done. We'll be labeled traitors just for helping. Then don't help me, Ryan said. Help him. He looked at the child. Quinn paused, then nodded. Get the cryochamber ready. Deep vault. No data trail. A soldier moved to take the child. But the baby suddenly cried. Loud, sharp. Ryan froze. So did Quinn. The lights flickered. The air shifted. The baby's cry triggered something. A pulse. A signal. A code buried deep in the child's genes. Ancient. Alien. Waiting to activate. Machines hummed, screens blinked, and then the stars changed. Far out in space, something responded. A structure, long dormant, turned its gaze toward the moon base. An orbital ring of alien origin, hidden for centuries. It began to wake up. Quinn grabbed the console. What the hell did you bring me? I told you, Ryan said. The future. Suddenly the base shook. Earth Command had arrived. A strike ship descended, black and sharp, with the Earth emblem marked in red. Inside, General Cray stood ready. Prepare breach. Recover the child. Kill the rest. On the planet, Ciara reached the remains of a communication beacon, barely functional. With her last bit of strength, she activated the distress pulse. The signal was weak, fading, but it reached the base. Ryan saw it. She's alive. Quinn looked at him. You'll never get down and back in time. Don't need to, Ryan said, grabbing a rifle. Just need one chance. He turned to the child. You'll wait for me, little star. Your mom's not done yet. Then he ran. As Cray's forces landed near the base, Quinn activated defense turrets. The sky turned red with blasts. Soldiers moved through halls. Alarms screamed, and deep in the vault, the hybrid child began to glow. His eyes were bright gold, his breath steady. His heartbeat echoed like music. The ancient alien code inside him began to unlock. Outside, machines across the galaxy, silent for generations, began to stir. Gates, weapons, knowledge. The child wasn't just a key, he was a call. Ryan reached Ciara just as she fell again. He caught her before she hit the ground. She looked at him, barely breathing. Is he safe? He is, Ryan said. And he's more than we thought. She smiled weakly. Told you, he was meant for more. Ryan picked her up. You're coming with me. Back on the base, Cray finally entered the vault, but it was too late. The child was gone. Quinn stood with a weapon. You're trespassing. Cray raised his gun. So did every person in the room, at Quinn's side. This is treason, Cray hissed. No, Quinn said. This is hope. Ryan returned with Ciara in his arms. They stepped into the vault. The child reached out to her, eyes glowing softly. She took his hand. The light between them grew, and suddenly everyone saw it. A vision, projected from the child's DNA. Not him. War, not weapons, a map. A path to unity, to something beyond empires. A future shaped not by control, but connection. The stars outside shimmered, and for the first time in centuries, the galaxy held its breath. Months later, the base had become a sanctuary, a neutral zone, a place for science, not war. Ciara walked beside Ryan, their child holding both their hands. He was laughing now. Free. A small plaque stood at the heart of the base. Here, the future began, not with fire, but with a mother's fight, and a human's choice to listen. The end.